Well, welcome back everybody. Today, we're at the other shop. Got this 79 F100 in here. We gotta fix some floor pans. This thing's pretty bad. So, I'm gonna work on cleaning this up. I'm gonna see if I can't get these bolts out. So I have to have that stuff to know where my seat mount holes go. And this is what was supplied with it. Just a couple of front floor pans. So, I had to make all this stuff right here. So, let's just see what the day brings, and I'll bring y'all along for a ride while I mess with it. So, let's get busy. Well, I spent a few minutes here wire brushing this off. He would have been better off to get another cab for his truck. I'll tell you why. It's bad. I mean, you got rust holes on top of the shifter pump here, but it's not an option for his truck, and that's not what they want to do. So now that I get everything kind of wire brushed off and cleaned up, I'm gonna get this gas pedal out of here. I'm gonna see if I can get these out. This seat belt. What's left of the seat track's actually rotted off in this truck. So I'm gonna get back busy and we'll see where we end up. Alright, at this point, I've got the seat mount patched and a little corner down here patched. One thing to note about this job, the customer does not want to spend a lot of money in it, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time making it 100% beautiful. All he wants is where it's good and solid. He did not want to address stuff like these deep pits. He didn't want to cut this stuff out. So basically, anything that holds something or is a safety concern or structural in this floor, we're going to patch. If I can beat on through with my hammer and it goes through, we're replacing it. I'll do a little fast forward video on the other side when I start cutting this stuff out. But right now, I'm going to work on cutting this center floor out. Once again, as small as I can because it comes to a cost deal. I'm going to cut it out as little as possible and try to get a piece patched in. One thing when you're working with this stuff, one thing you do got to remember, if it's not going to be a show car, it don't have to be beautiful. Not having holes in the floor is much more important, and where your seat won't fall off. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of stuff here. You know, it's super soft. So I'm gonna get back busy, and then I'll be back here in just a few minutes. And anytime you get rust as bad as this is, you're always going to have something in your braces. So now I'm going to work on getting this cleaned up and see if it's actually safe to still use. This is part of your rear cab mount cross member on these trucks. And I'll clean this up here too. And I'll prime everything up underneath once I get it cleaned up. But I'll be back here in just a few minutes. And alright, I got all our braces cleaned up reasonable. I still got to wipe them off a little thinner front and back here. Still got to do a little more trimming right here where there's some rust. Got to weld the seat belt bracket back together because, you know, it's rotten. To give you kind of an idea, that's our little pile that's just fell out of the bottom so far. The little vacuum cleaner over there is completely full. And, you know, that's the way it goes. So, I'm going to finish trimming this stuff up. And when I get trimmed up, I'll come in here and I'll just buzz this back together with the welder. This is real thick metal. It's still real strong. If I have to, I'll plate it. They don't want to replace no braces or nothing. In fact, he was wanting to fiberglass all that rust, and that's not something I do. So, you do this stuff, you might as well do it somewhat right. Like I said, patch in pieces. This truck really needs the whole floor pan and the braces replaced. I can't wait to see what our cab mounts up here in the front look like on the inside. But I'm going to get this piece of, like I said, I'm going to weld up my seat belt hole. I'm going to clean this off with some thinner in here. And I'll go ahead and paint this up under there before I put the piece of sheet metal on. And while our paint's drying, I'll start cutting out our panel. And I am going to put a little heavier panel than what this truck had in here, because I don't have a way to bead roll the little X in the center and the bead roll spots to make the panel stronger. So I'm just going to go to like an 11 gauge on this section. So I'm going to get busy and I'll be back here in a little while. And it's about this point where all the normal stuff starts happening, like you run out of welding gas, your welding wire's low, your flap disc are wore out, and this stuff. But I got a piece of 11 gauge here in the floor and got it welded in around the perimeter except for the back side. And like I said, I'm going to skin this back a little more up here. I'm going to cut another piece of 11 gauge and I'm going to lay it vertical, just like the factory. I'm going to weld it on top and bottom all the way across. That'll probably be tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and cut my piece. We'll fix this tomorrow down here. And if things go well, I expect them to, we'll start on one side of the floor pans. Now, they already started cutting out the other side over there, and usually I won't touch a rust repair when somebody else has started cutting. Fortunately, it looks like they've cut well below where these pans are going to fit. And I'm glad they stopped while they were ahead. But I get to put them in pretty much how I want to. And we're going to do it the best we can. Trying to keep him on his budget. But we'll see what happens. It's going pretty well so far. And hopefully they'll take the cab off his truck and blast the bottom side of it and paint it. While I'm painting the top sides of the braces, I am not painting the bottom side of this metal, except right where it's over the top of a brace. And the reason I'm doing that is to try to save him cost. But pretty much, that's going to be it for a video today. We'll be back tomorrow. This will probably be a 2 to 3 video job. So I want to remind you, 500 subscribers, I'm going to give away something cool. Some kind of cool collectible. And at 1,000, I'm going to give away something even bigger and even cooler. So make sure that you like these videos. You share them with your friends. And most importantly, subscribe. Also want to remind you about our Battle of the Budget Builders race. There is a video on that. I will drop a little screenshot of the video here. I don't have a way to attach it to the video, but it's in my albums. It's actually got its own album called Battle of the Budget Builders. So make sure you check it out too. But until then, I'm going to grind on some more rust, and I'll see you tomorrow.